Myriad angels of illumination's flame form with their bodies of light and the brightness of the golden of the sun, a cathedral of light around this place. For though you have chosen to offer your devotions in a manger, so to speak, you have built by them through these years of service and trial and persecution, a mighty cathedral over this place. It is a cathedral of the second ray of illumination's flame, whereby the power of the great minds of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the world teachers and their disciples, might anchor here, that living presence and that place at inner levels which is a part of the retreat of the Divine Mother, the cathedral itself. It is in place, beloved. I ask you to meditate and see this giant edifice as many hundreds of people come and go, and the devotions ring, and the angels sing as you have heard these choirs sing. Yes, beloved, there are some things that cannot be stopped by anyone, namely the rewards that are due unto these prophets, these saints, these children of the sun, and sons and daughters. Blessed ones, I am LANTO, and I come in the presence of the great Tai Chi, in the sphere of the Father, Mother, God. Therefore my voice is the voice of Alpha, the voice of Omega. Therefore you know me as androgynous being, and you can feel how the Father embodies the tremendous love of the Mother, and how the Mother embodies the great manifestation of the lawgiver who is Father. The design of this cathedral is like some of the greatest in Europe, yet it is even larger. Therefore many souls of light may begin coming here at inner levels, for we establish this cathedral not alone for the adornment of your soul and your heart and the secret chamber of your heart, but also as a place of the gathering. For did you not outpicture in your brochure the paths that lead all home to the heart of the inner retreat? When they come to the wilderness retreat, beloved, they gather in the great tabernacle of the congregation as of old. But when they come to the mighty Yellowstone, whose waters, beloved, have a special energy from the heart of the earth, there they find in the outer place the cathedral built. Thus none shall hold back the building of the city foursquare, and the adding unto it, in that place of the Divine Mother's retreat, of all the buildings and the necessities of life. Therefore, beloved ones, you may call for the filling in and the precipitation of every part of the inner retreat that is on the etheric plane to be manifest on this land, the land that is a part of the great white brotherhood above and below. Blessed ones, when we entertain guests from other systems of worlds who come to visit Earth for many reasons, we are well pleased to show our retreats on the etheric octave. But most of all, we are pleased that you have consecrated a land that we may also call our own. Let this retreat of the great white brotherhood on earth remain physical until the signs are fulfilled, the ages are fulfilled, and its reason for being is fulfilled. Thus the 7 mighty archangels dedicate this cathedral this night in honor of the Mother in the earth, the blessed Virgo who embodies the consciousness of earth and all elemental life, the Mother who is Mary and Kuan Yin and Lady Master Venus, and all of the ascended Lady Masters who are mothering and nurturing the lost souls that are found in the earth. I show you then at inner levels the blueprints that we have for the placing of the buildings, the edifices, the homes, the study halls, and all that you need for your expansion. May you meditate upon these and bring them into precipitation through novenas, to Lord Cyclopea, Elohim of the fifth ray. Now, beloved, you can bask in the sunlight of the rays of illumination's flame year-round. And though the cold blasts of winter come, and the icy rejection of the child in the womb, you may know the glow of the aura of many of your compatriots at inner levels. There is a great sense of warmth and holiness that has continued throughout this day, as your hearts, with such great devotion, have come to this altar. I thank you for receiving our messenger still, for tarrying with the earth, and taking from the fire of the altar a new fervor and a zeal to kindle that flame wherever you yourselves erect an altar of God. So, beloved, let the single candle be the sign that where your altar is, there is a tiny flame that is taken from the flame of the Ark of the Covenant. Thus, keepers of the flame, keep the flame of the mighty I Am Presence wherever you are upon earth, and know that each 2x4 space, each little corner where the chart and the pictures of Saint Germain and Jesus hang, and of Cthulhu and El Moria, and the creche scene and the focuses are, so there shall be attending angels. You have heard the request of the Blessed Mother for the continuing novena of the Rosary. This began within minutes of the conclusion of the dictation, and has been continuing. You can feel the presence and the love, the all-pervading perfume of the Blessed Mother of Christ, as you now have a shield greater than you know, and greater than many that you have raised up. The shield of the Divine Mother of all cosmos is easily manifest through the archei of the fifth ray. Thus, beloved ones, though you may not have the numbers in your various groups to maintain this vigil perpetually, you may at least see to it that a rosary is given daily, and perhaps the child's rosary, though the longer ones and the surrender rosaries have their special contribution, else they would not have been written. In the flame of the royal Teton, then, we stand, and we do celebrate the birth of the Summit Lighthouse. We do stand, surrounding our chief, the chief of the Darjeeling Council, for his great wisdom and his great sacrifice. When the messenger took the platform this day, so the ray of light that did descend from the heart of El Moria was the ray of sacrifice. Therefore I speak to you of sacrifice as a necessity in all building of the Lord's endeavors in the earth. It is simply the requirement that those who lay the foundations and continue the work must have a spirit of sacrifice, and this quality shines forth from among the four that you follow on the path of the ruby ray. Thus we speak of sacrifice in the midst of service, surrender, and selflessness. El Moria did sacrifice greatly to bring forth this activity. Only El Moria, beloved, would begin with such tiny beginnings of only 3 individuals who did come together. Blessed ones, it is truly amazing what the faith of the will of God and the Chohan of the first ray can work. Therefore alone he did stand and receive that grant, and thus, when you shall have your finest victory, he shall also stand, the one who also deserves the reward. Now, beloved ones, it is an hour to consider what is sacrifice, and on this subject I would speak to you. Sacrifice is truly the flow of the living flame, the essence of the blood itself, of the heart. It is truly giving a portion of your very own self that you do not expect to have returned. Sacrifice is giving not only the rays of the sun, but some portion of the sun itself. This is an endowment which the individual soul can make, and therefore endow the endeavors of the Great White Brotherhood with his own body and his own blood as the living Christ. True and whole sacrifice comes from those who are the Christed ones, for then they sacrifice a portion of their Christhood, their son and sonship, their core identity, that others might live. Let us not depart from this understanding, and let us know that all who have ever entered into these levels of sacrifice have received in return the multiplication, ultimately, of their Christhood again and again. Sacrifice is a risk. You might call it a gamble. For when a master does put his very life on the line for an endeavor such as this, there is always, always, beloved, the possibility of failure. For this is the way of the human consciousness, as Saint Germain has said. The human consciousness is not reliable and cannot be trusted. This day it wags one way, and this day it wags the other. And so you see, beloved, as you have embarked upon the second 33-year spiral of the activity, you have met with subtle opposition that comes from inner levels and will be outlined to you as an understanding of the years of astrology that unfold from this hour forward. And know then, beloved, that the temptations are more subtle, for you have entered the path of the 5 secret rays. The 5 secret rays come to give you balance, for do not they represent the white fire core of being, the nucleus of the atom of self? Why, of course they do. Therefore they assist you in getting to the very core of your identity and assisting you in bringing that identity into the fullness of your Christhood. This is not easy. It can be experienced as spiritual surgery and surgery of the soul. But you have the finest surgeons and mentors and those who are masters in understanding the soul as the psyche of each one. So you see, beloved, that to have the crown upon the pyramid for the next 33 years, you will have to take stock and examine the subtleties that manifest. When something is bothering you here, and something is bothering you there, and something is bothering you here, think of how many points of knots of dark energy are becoming islands in your unconscious. Think how this is draining the light. Think how this is becoming a momentum to tip the scales and tip the mighty ship that you are aboard. So you see, beloved, the wise counsel of the ancient sages of the East, which you have heard this day, is that you let nothing stay. You let nothing be left alone as a small little knot or a small problem or a small irritation. Such things on the astral plane and in the subconscious can eat and eat and eat away until they may become a devouring cancer of the soul. The soul can be destroyed. The soul can be no more. This is the law. The soul is the potential to become one with the permanent reality of being, but the soul has free will. Therefore learn the wisdom, for the sinister force knows that you will set aside the little things, and therefore it sets up little things, little botherations, and sometimes larger ones. Deal with them each day from the superior position of being seated in the throne of your own holy Christ self, rising to that level by sheer devotions to the holy Christ flame. Yes, beloved, if you cannot quite sit in the seat of your holy Christ self, you can call to be taken to the secret chamber of the heart and kneel before the altar there. The desiring to have cleared from you each day burdens, whatever they may be, of a physical, financial nature, or deeply problematical in the area of relationships. Blessed ones, you may not solve them in the sense that they are completely eliminated, but you will solve your attitude toward them. You will wrap them in light. You will be at peace in God, and you will turn the entire matter over to Saint Germain. You may wish to give 2016 as a daily call, releasing the power of your being in those fiats. So much can come to you, beloved. Therefore know that when you are at peace, that there will be resolution because you are centered in God. Then it is no longer a knot, even though it may be with you for a while. But there will be coming the disintegration of its intensity by its replacement by light, even by the cloud of infinite energy which you invoke. Thus, beloved ones, when you clear yourselves of the nagging of this and that, your unhappiness with an encounter with someone here or there, all of the things that people allow to come between them and the love of one another and the love of Christ. These things I counsel you to deal with, and then you shall weather the larger matters of planetary cycles of astrology, and how that astrology may affect and surely will affect your own lives. For there is no one upon the planet who shall not be affected by the coming cycles. The days ahead for you who are honorable and sincere students of the light will be days of testing. You have been told that at winter and summer solstice you receive final exams. Each year you must prepare for those exams. The Christmas season is particularly difficult. Records of ancient pagan rites, and the world in merrymaking, entering more into those satanic rites of the fertility cults, of sensuality and the misuse of the sacred fire, using all manner of drugs and alcohol and sweets. It is a very bad time of the year. Do not get caught in the vortex, for I, LANTO, am your mentor and guru, and I tell you that many a Chela has regularly failed the December tests in the name of family and family mesmerism. Therefore I warn you in advance that these failures go on your record, and it does take some doing to scrub that record until you can get out that spot. And it becomes a damnable spot indeed, as Francis Bacon wrote. Yes, beloved, therefore it is necessary to plan your years as being the 6 months of the yang and the 6 months of the yin in the power of the great Tai Chi, an initiation in the father, an initiation in the mother. As you reach for summer solstice, you have the same initiations, but they come in an entirely different manner. Here you are moving with the spring energies, moving forward, and you must take care that you master the love of Taurus and the mighty son of Aries, that when you enter Gemini and come to that summer solstice, you shall truly be not divided in the anima and the animus, but rather whole within yourself of male and female parts, This you work on for the preceding months, that when you come to that hour, you are not divided, a chela from the guru, a disciple from the master, a desire body from the mental body, and the four lower bodies divided from the living Christ. Thus the Gemini twins must give, and that is when you must give, that you might find yourself in harmony with the other half of yourself, and consequently know that wherever your twin flame is, you also have harmony with that twin flame. Blessed ones, there is a formulation for the building of this retreat. There is a center place in the cathedral, and in that place there is a flame that burns. It is centrally located, and out from that center focus are rings upon rings upon rings. These rings have markings on them of positions that are open to be taken up by specifically called, chosen, and appointed life streams. As you see these many rings that go out almost infinitely from the cathedral floor, you find then that some have come to occupy their places, and some have not. Some have occupied them for a time and left. It is like the table round, beloved. The table round was filled, the positions ordained, and yet, all of a sudden, all did decide to go to quest the Holy Grail, when the Grail was not for all. And though King Arthur warned that that would be the destruction of mighty Camelot of old, yet they left, and only a few, a very few, did actually have some form of contact with the Grail. Parsifal, Galahad, Bors, and on, beloved. Yet all was lost for those whose time had not come for this initiation, determined to go out to find what? The Grail would not be revealed to them for many lifetimes hence, even unto the present hour. And yet the same ones depart the place, beloved, where the Holy Grail could become a reality unto them. Therefore my call to you, out of the power of the central sun, out of the power of Apollo and Lumina, Jophiel and Christine, Helios and Vesta, Alpha and Omega and the great central sun magnet and God Saria, and so many more unnamed of the hosts of light, is to keep the flame of the inner retreat, keep the flame and the call of Camelot reborn here in this place. Keep the flame, beloved, of the mystery school, and know that each one of you who does tarry here does actually hold the balance for millions. Sometimes it becomes heavy, beloved, and if you have not decreed in the depths of your being, you feel that weight. Thus, because you hold the balance for so many by a single life stream, the force will gnaw at you, will try to eat of you, and will attempt to put so much pressure upon you that your only recourse against that pressure, your only freedom from it, to know peace of mind, is to give in to it. It is then that you decide, for this or that seemingly legitimate reason, that it is better that you be elsewhere on planet Earth. I discuss this with you, for I am convinced because I see clearly that as you wait upon the Lord in this retreat, all things will come to you, whether it is resolution of one kind or another, or the therapy you need, or spiritual quickening and enlightenment. Whatever the seeming lack, you will find it as you rise in the rings of light that not only move outward but upward. Thus the call has been given to you by your Lord, occupy till I come. This means be in your seat, be in your position, hold that point in the universal map of the stars. And the stars I speak of are the causal bodies of the saints. Hold your place. Do not vacate it, that some scoundrel of a Modred might enter and sit there with proud look and folded arms and curled spine. Yes, beloved, you have a grand mission in life. It is sometimes difficult for the human mind to balance the knowledge of the grand mission with the remnant of the ego, who in an unbalanced state will then move into a consciousness of pride and idolatrous consciousness of the self. Therefore it is not well for you to see and know the fullness of the glory of your I am presence or Holy Christ self, or even that which you have been in past ages long ago, before you took the path that had nowhere else to go but winding downward, downward, downward into the lower octaves. And had you walked any further, beloved, and some of you did, you would have arrived to the astral levels. Some of you here tonight have been pulled out of the astral levels by the two witnesses, by the archangels, by the intercession of prayer and perpetual decrees here and around the world. Thus, many of you are at a place much higher than you would have been in this lifetime, were it not for the few and then the many who have kept the flame. Now I say, seek the stability of the young mind, that you might also know the peace of God and be able to command the forces of your being in Jesus' words. Peace, be still, and know that I am God. That peace be still is spoken to every agitation of the mind and the body, every disturbance and every emotional pull. There are certain individuals whose divine plan it is to be elsewhere. Let them be elsewhere, therefore, by their divine plan and by their calling. This you can determine with a messenger. Do not be afraid to ask the question, where is my right place in time and space on earth today? At the inner retreat or somewhere else? You are sincere and you desire answers. Questions that involve the future of a life stream are weighty matters, and you must not dodge the issue or dodge the messenger. When you are out of sorts, admit it. Ask the help of your brothers and sisters. This is what happens in the retreats of the Great White Brotherhood on the etheric octave. Brothers and sisters help one another with prayer, with love, with the strong bands of light and circles convoked, until that one can pass through a very dark place and record that would fairly pull him out of the mystery school in the etheric octave and deliver him to some level of the astral plane, were it not the reinforcement of other unascended ones who come to their aid. You see, beloved, when dealing ultimately with a dweller on the threshold, you are waging a war that is a life and death struggle. It is not required that you necessarily face this alone. Brothers and sisters and angels and seraphim may come to your side. Yes, the dispensations are upon the earth in this hour, and many that you benefit from that you do not know about in the outer. Such is the way in the inner retreats. Let it be the way here. What we see as the problem so often is that the individual who has the problem is also willful and dense and not willing to change in small ways and great, that he might be helped by his fellow brethren. Thus, beloved, an opportunity can be lost for many lifetimes, and a wide circle in the world that does not lead as a straight line back to the heart of Moria so quickly. We speak to you because we love you, because we are with you, because we see your past and your future. All things are known to us by the angels of the Keeper of the Scrolls. Thus, beloved, we come to spare you the agonizing pain of a future realization of a decision made so terribly wrong, so out of the way of the direct path. Blessed hearts, there are a few requirements. We begin then with some measure of humility. Where there is not some humility in the individual, there is little heaven or earth can do for that one. And thus, pride does go before every fall, and rebellion is like the catapulting of an individual from here to kingdom come. Rebellion is such an intense momentum, beloved, and so deep-seated, based in reality upon the hatred of the father and the mother, that when it is fully unleashed, it actually sends the individual far afield from this place. Thus, beloved, another basic requirement is love. Where there is not established a real divine love in the heart for God and for the Atman in everyone and for souls struggling, where there is not love that can forgive, there is little or nothing that can be done for the individual. The one who will not forgive another or himself out of pride or some other condition of consciousness simply has bound himself hand and foot, and he is bound from head to toe. He cannot step forward or backward or to the right or to the left. For some, forgiveness is hard. Seek it through the heart of Kuan Yin. Find it, for find it you must, or you will not resolve the equation of being. Let it be something you look for everywhere, within and without, until you discover the key which the messenger has already given you regarding forgiveness. Forgiveness is becoming Kuan Yin. Forgiveness is a son of mercy's fire. It is sending mercy on the just and the unjust, and allowing God to mete out divine justice. This is your lawful position as chelas at Maitriya's mystery school. When you take the law and the justice into your own hands, beloved, you take them out of God's hands, and you do not fare well. And so, beloved, for those who do not make it, I say, there is a conscious and an unconscious reason why. May they also increase in the many outer rings of opportunity, in the field, in teaching centers and study groups, and on their own. For truly, these doors are open unto those who would have a continuing walk with us. Let us call then for the light bearers to be raised up, and for you to be healed. Thus it is a healing light that descends upon this anniversary of the Summit Lighthouse. It is a healing light for all who will receive it, from the heart of Mother Mary and Raphael to the heart of Hilarion and the Elohim of the fifth ray and millions of healing angels. We come for the healing of those whose hearts are willing, whose heads will come into alignment and whose desire is to enter into that path of sacrifice through wholeness. We desire to see your wholeness, and we are applying many methods and opening many avenues for this to take place. Let not then the awareness of your own condition, of absence of wholeness in your psyche, bring you to the place where you think that anywhere but here is the place to work on it. Blessed ones, it is at the altar of God, and only at the altar of God, that true and lasting alteration, alchemy, does come forth. Love one another with the illumined light of the flame of love. Love one another in celebration of the will of God. Love one another because El Moria has first loved you, has placed his faith and trust in the God within you, and taken his chances. Reward him then, and know that the bands of angels and disciples ascended of the Royal Teton Retreat are working with each and every one of you nightly. There is not a night that you are not God-taught. And when you are at Summit University, fulfilling your decrees and studies, and your mind is engaged with the Lord, you have deeper and more intense sessions at inner levels. This is Maitreya's Mystery School. This is the place where Gautama Buddha has sponsored the messenger in the performing of the clearances that you will receive this week. Therefore, beloved, do not think that it is merely an outer physical school. You are spending 24 hours a day at Summit University, and you are welcome to continue at inner levels after you have concluded this summer course. We are preparing you under the second ray to be teachers, to be ministering servants, to be knowledgeable in the paths of the world's religions, and capable and qualified of dealing with so many kinds of people with so many burdens and so many sins that might be unthinkable to you. Remember that no matter what the sin or the compromise, the soul needs love and nurturing and the cup of cold water in Christ's name, and perhaps even that portion of your Christhood which you shall lay down in sacrifice for the saving of many. And so Jesus spoke that he could lay down his body and take it again. You may do the same, but while you give your body, so shall the eagles gather and the mighty ones, for they come, beloved, because they recognize the place where the body of the Christ is. That is the key to the increase and the shining of Church Universal and Triumphant. That is the true city on the hill that cannot be hid. Therefore you become the pillar in the temple, and your presence maintains the wall of protection. You become then those who around the world can teach others accurately the law and the ancient wisdom. I am LANTO, and I reveal to you my threefold flame, blazing, blazing from my very heart chakra, shining through the being and garments. Thus aspire, for the threefold flame is the way home for those who have lost the way. My beloved students, my beloved staff, beloved families, beloved children, beloved keepers of the flame who have come to this state and endured hardship, my beloved ones who have prospered who have been ingenious, who have taught the little children, all of you, beloved, all keepers of the flame, all keepers of the flame of the whole wide world. I say to you, beloved ones, receive me now. Let your threefold flame be the candle in the night, and do not be afraid to lend that candle to those to whom the Lord directs you to. Be a beacon in the night. This is my calling to each and every one of you. Be a beacon in the night. The only beacon you have in this octave, beloved, is the light of your heart. When the long night comes upon the earth, it will be the light of your heart that keeps the flame. Therefore increase that fire through harmony and love, through study and the discipline of the will. Be a beacon in the night. This is my call to you, beloved ones. Heart to heart, give resuscitation to those who once had the flame and no longer have it, to those who began as light bearers and children of the sun. Yes, heart to heart resuscitation. Now let the kindling fire be celebrated as you celebrate Holy Communion, and I myself serve you through our ministering servants. This communion, beloved, even the wine and the bread shall have the transubstantiation not only of the Lord Jesus Christ, but of that special essence I give to you for your increasing of the heart. You should feel it now, beloved, as I step up the heart, the chakra and the threefold flame of the messenger, that this might be a balance point for you in this octave. So what increment can be given to you is given. How much more will be given to you, you will know one day when you balance the threefold flame. So where you are in an imbalance, which is most of you, I come to increase the lowest of the three plumes, that you might work on that aspect. When your threefold flame is in balance, beloved ones, then it can begin to spin, and then you will see how it is the resurrection flame throughout your heart. Only when the balance comes can you produce your own resurrection flame from your own heart. I am the sealing of the souls. I am the sealing of your souls in the whiteness of glory. The whiteness of this glory does allow you to see the spots remaining. You can remove them by rubbing, by polishing, but the best way to remove them is by the balanced threefold flame. Thus I commend you to the heart of every ascended member of the Great White Brotherhood who blesses the Summit Lighthouse as an organization, as a mandala of heaven and earth. I bless you with the flame, the threefold flame of all who serve from above. Let the flame itself and your retreat to the secret chamber become the center of your life, your Summit Lighthouse, your cathedral, your community. and all of your activities. I am LANTO, watch for me. I am often standing or seated to the right of the messenger as she delivers to you the lectures we have outlined for her. I am here more often than you see me, therefore look more carefully. In the love of illumination's flame, I seal you in the heart of Helios and Vesta. Let us take Holy Communion. Please bring the bread and the wine for blessing, and turn in your songbooks to the songs to the Holy Christ, Self and Flame. From the heart of Helios and Vesta, the Lord Jesus Christ, there does descend now the mighty ray, the ray of the body and blood of our Lord, the ray of Alpha and Omega for the balancing of cosmic forces in the earth, and the soul and the heart, the mind and the four lower bodies. Therefore receive Holy Communion, for this bread and this wine is charged by the action of the central sun, that you might begin to see yourselves as rays of light and emissaries of that sun, with a mission that is powerful, that can be accomplished by wisdom, wise dominion, and love. Therefore, take now, take the bread of life, and drink of the cup of the sorrow and the joy, the crucifixion and the resurrection, the sacrifice and the victory of all who have gone before you.